Okay, three quick announcements as far as personnel. Pat Miller has broke a very small bone in his foot and had successful surgery this morning. It's like a 2-month process, so he'll be full speed. Obviously, he's out for spring, and he will be full speed by July 1st. So we'll get a good month of work out of him, and he'll be fine for the season. Matt Lindemood has retired and is no longer with the team. And I know some of this stuff's already out there, but I'm just going to give some clarification to it, and then we're not going to talk about it again. And Derek Bryant's been dismissed due to violation of team rules, and will no longer be with the team. With that said, just finished up practice number 7. Good practice. Coming off of spring break, we had a workout Sunday night and got some of the spring break out of them. And then they got a good lift in yesterday, and we had a very spirited practice today. So happy with how it went today. And, 7 down and 8 more to go. So looking forward to that. With that, I'll take some questions.
Was there much spring breaks to get out of them? Did you guys kind of fall back in line quick and get back into it?
Always is. I mean, you don't require guys to work out. They're not going to work out. Some probably will a little bit, some won't. So had a good run on Sunday and had several of them show us what they had to eat earlier in the day. And then they got a good meal in and woke up and did their weights and study hall and all that good stuff. So it got them back in the flow of things.
What part of Miller's foot was the bone in? Was it part?
Not a doctor. Don't know.
Did he do this in practice?
Yeah, he did the Thursday prior to spring break. So he was, he came back and, they did the x-rays Friday and knew he had to have surgery, but, spring break, he went on spring break and he came back and had surgery this morning. So
I realize all of your guys need work, but he is at least a little bit more established maybe than some other guys. Does this perhaps afford you an opportunity to get more of a look at some of those other guys than you would have?
Well, it does, but we're not very deep at corner. I mean, we have you have Broderick Jenkins, you have Avery Williams, who obviously needs work. You have Chestnut, who obviously needs work. Lawrence Smith is a guy that didn't play last year but is back. He needs reps. Cecil Level needs reps, but he's another walk-on. So I think we're down to 3 scholarship corners now. So we'd rather Pat get the reps, but that's just a part of football, and we'll move on.
How's Chestnut?
Okay, still, he was not where we want him to be by any stretch of the imagination. He got beat on a couple of post routes today, and then I saw him puffing on a inhaler on the sidelines. So he's a guy that's still trying to figure out how to play in pads due to not having pads on for a year because he had the shoulder surgery. So he's not where we want him to be, and he's a guy that needs to take advantage of getting as many reps as he can. If he's puffing on an inhaler, that's not going to be possible, but he needs to overcome that and get out there and play as much as he can.
You satisfied with where you guys are at the midpoint of spring, and what are you looking to do over the next 8?
I just get better. I mean, me, I'm never satisfied with anything. That's just part of it. So, and what I'm happy about is it seems like we're battling back and forth, which I had a little concern about that due to being a new defensive scheme, and us offensively having 9 starters back. But that hadn't been the case. Defense has done good. We'll make some plays on them, but then they get some stops, and then we'll make some plays and they get some stops. So I'm happy with the competitive nature of where we're at with it. We just still got a long ways to go from an assignment standpoint, from a schematic standpoint, from today was the first day that we started doing score zone goal line stuff. It didn't look very good, so we just got to improve on that, just like we got to improve on everything. We want to be where we want to be mid-season, not now. So we got a lot of work to do here the rest of spring, and then all through camp. I mean, it's still a process. You guys know that.
In the new defense, retention-wise, coming back off the break, did you feel like the guys were there, that they kept a lot of it? You were happy with how the defense performed?
I don't know. I mean, I'm working one side of the ball a little bit more than the other side of the ball. When you guys were out there, I spent about 45 minutes watching individual stuff happen down there on defense. You know, it's not till I go in and watch tape and see kind of some of the carryover or some of the new installation before I figure out where they're at.
Dana, was anything different today? Did you guys make things look differently just based on having 2 weeks of practice under your belt and then a week to think about it and line things up? So when you came back today, maybe it was something you kind of planned or envisioned?
You know, not really, Mike. Just probably the biggest difference was getting these guys, which is, and I've made reference to this. Offensively, it's a little different than defensively because it takes them longer to install stuff. But what we need to do to get better is, you know, find backups. But from a situational thing, we got to get better at third down. We got to get better at the scoring percentage in the red zone, the touchdown percentage in the score zone, you know, better at, you know, short yardage and goal line situations, which we just started doing that stuff today. You know, so it looked different from what we can do to watch stuff on tape and build on it from there. The 6 practices before spring were all installation stuff. You know, 2 of them were non-padded, but you know, the majority of the rest of spring will be focusing, especially offensively, focusing on what we got to do to get better situational. You know, and there's a lot of that stuff out there today.
Dana, through the 7 practices, who would you, of the kids that came in early, freshmen, can you talk about their progress?
The 5 new guys, Ford's head spinning still, which it's gonna, you know, that just like Paul's was spinning last year, but we had to rep him a bunch. You know, he had to take 50% of the reps. Well, based on, you know, Paul now knowing what to do and Gino's Gino, we don't have to force Ford. You know, we don't have to force feed him those reps. You know, we're in a bit of a luxury when it comes to just letting him watch, you know. So, you know, he's doing fine. He's got a great arm, but, you know, we're not evaluating him a ton due to the fact that we don't have to. Jordan Thompson made a bunch of plays out there today. He's got a lot of shake to him, you know, and plays a lot bigger than he is. Really pleased with his progress. Carl Joseph has been impressive, you know, from picking it up from a maturity standpoint, from a physical standpoint. Been very impressed with him. Who else is there? Marjay Albury is you know, that's a different. Anytime it's a in the trenches deal, that's tougher. So he's got a long ways to go, but is trying hard. And then Sean Walters is about 25 pounds heavier than he was 3 months ago, and his frame looks great. You know, he'll strike you. He needs to, you know, from a mental standpoint, you know, he's playing a different position. He was more back on the hash in high school and would just roam the field and go to the ball, which he's good at, but now he's got to think a little bit more, and he's playing down. So he's progressing, but we want him to progress a lot more here in the next 8 practices.
He's the guy who moved from, you know, strong safety to star.
Yeah, we moved him down.
Yeah, I mean, are there any other guys who are, whether it's working out their way out of a position or into another one? I mean, are there anybody?
Yeah, Donovan Miles is working fullback. You know, since Matt's not here, we need a body. We only got one, Ryan Clark, who's doing great. And Donovan's going to find probably more playing time being able to move over on offense, and his attitude's been great about it. You know, there's some guys on the D-line that are moving around a little bit, but it's nothing to talk about at this point because, you know, they get moved back. And same thing with Star and linebacker and Buck and then I mean, they go from one to the other based on scheme and stuff all the time. So there's a lot of that happening right now, but nothing that's really worth talking about.
Want to redshirt Ford this year, or is he battling for the back?
Yeah, it's in the best interest of our football team to do that. Just because Paul's so far ahead because of all the reps that he's got, let Ford absorb it, take a bunch of reps, and a year from now let him compete. In a perfect world, yes, but you know how that goes.
What does a football coach do during spring break? What did you guys, players are gone,
I didn't talk to any of them, so I don't know what they did. Get away from each other. We spend so much time up here together. Hell, I don't want to go on vacation with them.
you didn't spend all the time watching
didn't spend any time
film
with
or
them.
anything?
No, a lot of these guys, you just, they go somewhere with their family and hang out and all that.
If you could talk about what he's been doing and
Really good. Got a great attitude. He's playing a lot faster than he did. One of the deals that we were talking about him early was, he's a fast player, but he only plays fast 10% of the time, 15% of the time. When the ball's in his hands, he's fast. When the ball's not in his hands, he's not. He's playing fast all the time. He looks like a totally different guy, which is obviously exciting.
He was a running back.
Are you surprised by his ball skills, catching the ball?
Who's that?
Came here as Tavon.
No.
He came as a running back and it surprised you
A little bit his ball skills.
Nah, he's got great hand-eye coordination. He's strong. There's guys that have muscles that aren't strong. I mean, he's got twitch and he's got strength. He can snatch that thing out of the air.
his vertical jump.
I don't know. Ask Coach. I hate that weight room down there. I don't go down there.
when he's playing fast all the time, does that change what you can do with him? Does that open things up for him?
Yeah, get him the ball more.
It's possible to get him the ball more?
We did that in the bowl game. Touched it quite a bit in the bowl game, I think. Let's try to do that again, right? All right, guys, appreciate it.